Alright everybody, and welcome my fellow uncouth Americans. I am Shannon S. a Shining Star. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, you lazy bastards. Thank you. Natives and Settlers Part 4. The first settlement of America actually begins in London, England with the Virginia Company, ran by treasurers such as Sir Thomas Smith or Smythe. The treasurers and company, very much like any nation today, were in charge of ensuring stockholders, trader finances, and foreign interest. They believed to find a safer passage to the Orient going west. Plus, there was this new world founded by the Spaniards that was rumored to have gold, silver, gems, water, land, lumber, the works of tradable, usable goods to meet the supply and demand of the ever-growing populations in Europe. 60 miles south of Chesapeake Bay was a perfect location to land in the New World's long coastline. This peninsula-like area protected the settlers from the Spanish. At the south, virtually had no natives for miles around up to the Chesapeake area. It was a perfect site for the settlement. By May 14th, 1607, Jamestown, Virginia was established in a place that's safe to live, raise families, work your ass off to please the crown 3,000 miles across the pond. Or was it? Ruled by the first president of this new Virginia colony was to be Edward Marie Winfield, alongside 6 council members. That was John Radcliffe, Christopher Newport, John Martin, Bartholomew Gosnold, George Kendall, and John Smith. The people were at first struggling to survive. They had restrictions from exploring the territory. Trading with Indians and associating with Indians was not legal whatsoever. But due to such limitations, Captain John Smith went foraging in the restricted areas to gather supplies and see if there was any other, better water source and things like that, even though they weren't allowed. This led to his capture by one of the tribes under the, please forgive me that I know I'm going to get this wrong, Wahansenakwa. What? I'll stop. Forgive me and I'll stop. Which also consisted of 6 major leaders, tribes, under Chief Powhatan, which was one of his base people were named after him. He had another name, but I was not going to disrespect it by mispronouncing it that badly. The other tribes were the Arahatek, the Apamatuk, the Pamunkey, the Mataponi, Kekhotan, and the Chisiach. John Smith was fed and talked with the main chief, Chief Powhatan, and then was released without any problems. The tribe still felt the settlers a great threat, and they attempted to kill John Smith and his men when they released him in 1608. The tribe sent an invitation to the settlers to meet in Werowokomoko. Anywho, Princess Metoka warned the whites about it and helped set up terms to, make peace with the settlement and let them eat and survive. You know her best as Princess Pocahontas. John Smith dug a well for his 100 men, but at this point it was even less than that, and they were still dying off from the metals and the salt water, as well as typhoid, and due to the drought, food was scarce. Even the Indians stopped providing because the demand was just too much. The settlers resorted to eating snakes, rats, dogs, their horses, and even cannibalism of the fallen. By this point, John Smith had returned to England after a gunpowder accident in the drifting boat that John had slept in apart from the other settlers, due to his declining favor with the lot of them. By 1610, the hero of the hour for the English was John Rolfe, After his shipwreck and excursions in Bermuda, John Rolfe came to Jamestown with supplies, more men, and women. I mean, there were only a couple left in Virginia. Only 2 of them were brought to begin with. Along with tons of seed for great tobacco, and this not only saved the settlement, but it helped it become a thriving community thereafter. During this revitalization of the town, the natives and settlers had some unfinished business. In the guise of diplomacy, the settlers said, "Send Princess Matoka, Pocahontas, to do negotiations with the treasurer. We trust her most, you know." The now grown up and married to Kocoum, Pocahontas, agreed. The minute she was in reach, they captured Princess Matoka, and they kept her aboard the ship with Captain Samuel Argall. The ransom was weapons that the tribe stole, cooking copper kettles, other little treasures that they took, plus the colonists that they were holding captive. During her captivity, Matoka was converted to Christianity, changing her name to Rebecca. Yes, of all the names to change yours to, it's Rebecca. Anywho, and marrying John Rolfe, whom the legend said that they fell in love with each other on the ship April of 1614. The Union stopped the fighting. So, it could be true. She may have faked falling in love just to keep the peace. Who knows? But from this was born the first child of natives and English that they know of. Thomas Rolfe. Unfortunately, John Rolfe found it better to take his native wife and child to England and show off his wild, savage woman, now a proper civilized lady of the court. This journey killed the princess by white man disease, and her son was left in England with a caretaker. John Rolfe returned to Virginia a triumphant man soon after. I'm sorry, she was a mom, and it was a newborn baby. I don't care, John Smith survives the tribe in peace without taking their women, and he's called a traitor. John Rolfe captures, marries, and reproduces with a native. He's called a hero. What's the difference? One found a profitable product for the king. Sláinte to the mixed children out of peace and love. Slán, darlings.